financial problems, elder law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is the business approach to financial issues. Brian Small, good to see you.
Good morning, Ken. Always a pleasure to be here.
Jeffrey Linden, our tax expert, probate and commercial litigation expert. How are you?
I'm great, Ken. Good morning.
Scott Weinberg, our criminal law expert, the man you go to when facing criminal charges. How are you?
It's great to be here. Thanks.
All right, so today's topic is kind of a back to the beginning a little bit. In fact, the reason we came up with this topic is Brian and I were talking, and it's a concept that we explain oftentimes in our seminars on financial issues, and also really almost all of our seminars. The approach we take to problems, whether they're financial problems, estate planning, anything else, is a business lawyer approach. And what I mean by that is the role of a business lawyer is diverse, because the number of problems that come to you have a wide variety. Someone may be selling the business. Somebody may be having, their owner of the business may be having financial problems. They may have tax problems. They come to you with a problem. As the business lawyer, your job is to find the solution. And it's not to say, well, I don't do that segment of business law. You'll have to go to a business lawyer that does that. The business lawyer's job is to solve the problems that the business has or that the client has. So we applied that concept to financial problems, particularly when the financial crisis hit back in 2008, 2009. And we came up with what we call financial crisis management, which is really our business approach to solving financial problems. And the concept comes back to say there's an optimal solution, in our view, to every problem. There's multiple solutions, but how do you decide which is the best? And for the most part, we kind of go with the concept of the solution that solves the problem the fastest way at the least possible cost is the optimal solution. So that's the concept. Now, another one that Brian and I like to talk about and joke about, in fact, we were just before the show, is one of the ways this whole thing got started. And it was Brian and I were together, and we were back in early 2000s, and people came in with a financial problem, and we'd say they weren't right for bankruptcy. And they would leave. And we kind of said, that's not the business approach to solving problems. If a client comes in with a problem, you have to have a solution. And if you send them away and say, I'm sorry, you're not right for a bankruptcy, I can't help you with your financial problem, you're effectively, what I said in jest at that time, putting a gun in the chamber.
I mean, a bullet in the chamber.
A bullet in the chamber, and you're leaving them to desperation. Right. And if it goes bad, it's on you.
See, financial problems, no matter who you are, become somewhat insurmountable when you're trying to deal with them yourself, and the depression and the pressure that you feel. And because it's not just a financial problem. Financial problems create psychological problems, and there's got to be a solution, and we are the conduit for the solution. We will find you your financial solution to get you out of the mess that you've gotten yourself into. The question is what are your opportunities to get out of that mess? And if you're limited to only, I went to a bankruptcy attorney and he told me I couldn't file bankruptcy, and you don't have anything else, you're not in good shape. But if you look at the opportunities that exist, whether it's debt resolution, bankruptcy, budget management, dealing with creating an opportunity for you to not be collected upon so that you at least can live, eat, sleep, and breathe. those opportunities are what we completely explore when we're looking at your solution for you.
We'll do a case study and an example. We'll take Bart, age 52, and we're going to develop him in a minute. But as we do it, it's a kind of also to compare how other companies and people address this and where they fall short of the business solution because they're single-minded operators. And the other thing, the point that you made up, the desperation, you must see it, Scott, all the time with people that are stressed probably lead to domestic violence cases. You know, financial problems, marital problems, those stress causes bad behavior.
Well, it's really true, right? In any even criminal case, you get someone who has a drunk driving case, but it goes the rest of their family environment. They need many times depression counseling, they have opiate or they have other drug problems, so it relates, it goes into their business too. So they can't go to work, they lose their job because of it. They have to then consult with a bankruptcy attorney or someone financial management counseling because of a drunk driving. And so it affects the rest of their environment at home.
I mean, Jeff, you see it, tax problems, people are stressed out to the max.
People are stressed out to the max, and it creates this emotional fear, and people go into their hole, and they don't solve the problem, and then the problem gets worse, and then they tend to ignore the problem thinking it might go away, or I'll deal with it later, and then it gets worse and worse and worse because they don't look at the problem and the approach, and they don't figure a path out early enough, and then they get incredibly anxious and depressed as it grows.
I can see another point where you see it because you do probate work, so you've got the people that were so stressed out that they died, and you're dealing with their problem as well. I could not resist tying probate into the situation. All right, so you got Bart, who's 52 years old. Let me give you his facts, then we'll take a break and we'll start analyzing how to solve his problem.
That's probably how old Bart Simpson is actually at this point.
52.
52.
Do you know he has $100,000 of credit card debt?
All right.
He's got $50,000 of income taxes due from 2015 and 2016. I don't know if Bart Simpson, he's married, family of 4. I don't know.
Can be at this point.
Fair market value of his home's $100,000. He's got $45,000 of equity. He earns $80,000 a year, and he has an IRA of $50,000. So that's his situation. That's not uncommon for someone to have to be Bart in that fact pattern. And the question is, when you're Bart, you're trying to figure out, what do I do? And you're seeing TV commercials and things like that, and you have to take action. We'll take a break, and afterwards we'll figure out what Bart's going to do.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
I love you too. Bye-bye. That was Jerry. Emma just said her first word.
Oh.
Jerry says hello and they'll be over soon.
Who's Jerry? Is he a friend of yours?
No. This Jerry. Our Jerry. And this is his wife and their little girl.
You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP.
Criminal matters are serious. Your freedom, future, and wallet are on the line. Criminal defense attorney Scott Weinberg is a former prosecutor and renowned criminal lawyer. For over 30 years, he's the go-to defender in Michigan to protect your rights. Scott's advice: you have the right to remain silent. Use it. If charged with a crime, call Scott Weinberg today, 888-235-HELP, 888-235-HELP. And remember, stay silent.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, It's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, welcome back. So before we go into Bart's situation, I just want to clarify something. When we were talking, you were analyzing or analogizing to Bart Simpson, who has nothing to do with this.
That's right.
But when I said he's about that age, I guess I was referring to Homer, his father.
Yes.
I have seen that show.
Uh-huh.
I'm not beyond the Simpson era.
Well, Homer doesn't age either.
No, but he's probably around 45,
He's probably
50.
52 years old.
Okay.
There you go.
He's obviously
And
mismanaged.
he's got $100,000 worth of credit card debt, and he owes $50,000 for 16
But
and
we're going to
and
call
15.
him Bart for
All right.
this show, okay? So that the Simpsons are not contacting me with any kind of copyright claim or
All
any
right.
garbage like that lawyers happen to do sometimes. Okay, so Bart sees on TV this National Tax Specialty Relief Company. I've made this company up, but you see all these national companies doing
If you
tax
owe more
relief.
than $10,000 in tax debt, you should call us now.
He heard them on TV and
What it
radio.
sounds like.
Very nice. He calls up some guy. The guy says to him, "We can solve your problem, Bart. You need to do an offer and compromise, the Free Start program from IRS." And he goes on and he says to him, "You're going to apply for an offer. We're going to offer them $1,000. They're going to accept it, and your tax debt from 2015 and 16 of $50,000 will be gone. All you need to do to get this started is give me your credit card number. I'm going to email you some documents that you can just check the boxes to sign, and it'll all be started, and in 9-10 months you'll get a letter from IRS accepting the offer." Bart says, "This is great," gives him the credit card number, boom, $7,500 on his credit card, and he's happy, and he's walking around the house like he's on top of the world. Here's the problem.
The world's going to come crashing down on Bart.
Here's the problem. Like Jeff was just telling me.
There's no way that's going to work, and they don't tell people that, and they try and sell it that you can get rid of your tax debt for pennies on the dollar. And they tell people that this is a new program the IRS has. It's called the Fresh Start Program. The Fresh Start Program is actually the name in the federal legislation. It started in 2012. It's not new. It's been around. But the problem is that when you look at what Bart has, you can look at what we just talked about, and he's immediately not eligible for an offer and compromise. He won't get it.
Because he's got the IRA, he's got more than 20% equity in his home.
Right.
Okay.
And you know that from the beginning, and they don't tell people that.
And they don't tell him for that for the simple reason. The guy that Bart was talking to on the phone, he's not a lawyer.
He's a salesman.
He's a salesman.
Exactly.
And on that $7,500, I don't know how much of the $7,500 he gets, but I'm guessing he gets about $1,500 of it. That's just my guess. But he knows if he gets Bart on that credit card, he's getting money for his family, which is what his goal and mission in life is to do. We all have that same similar goal. The question is, how do we go about getting there? Bart, the right thing to do if Bart came to us...
Well, we do it ethically.
Yeah.
That's the
You would say to
difference.
Bart, you don't qualify for an offer and compromise. So how does this play out for Bart? Because this is real world.
But the guy on TV said I do.
Right. No, well, no, forget that part. How Bart gave him the $7,500. In 9 months, Bart's going to get a letter from the IRS that says your offer's rejected, and it'll kind of give some details as to why, because of the IRA and because of the equity in the home.
Right.
He goes back to the company and he says, "What happened?" They said, "Oh, the government, they're so rotten. They denied your offer. I'm sorry to hear that. But for another $1,500, we can get you into an installment payment and pay these taxes out over the next 72 months. And at that point, Bart's desperate because he's now gotten a notice of intent to levy on his paycheck at work, and he's now doing that. Bart's solution should have never been to try for an offer and compromise. So that's number one, Bart's first shot.
And he's out the $7,500
Right.
too.
But Bart doesn't even know this for 8 months. He's still walking around the house happy. And now he's sitting there watching TV, and he says, I got to solve my credit card problems. And he sees this guy, this is what Brian calls this company. he sees this company, 1-800-SAVE-MY-BUTT. Or you want to say it the way you say it?
No, call 1-800-SAVE-MY-BUTT.
Okay. And it says, if you have more than $10,000 of credit
It's
card
funny,
debt.
isn't it? It's the same commercial. If you have more than $10,000 worth of tax debt, if you have more than $10,000 worth of credit card debt, I think it might even be the same guy.
But if you notice something, have you guys seen these commercials too? I'm
Oh,
sure.
sure.
If you notice that depending on the economy and the market, sometimes it's if you have more than $5,000 of tax debt or $5,000 of credit card debt. It's not because the rules of the game have changed. It's because that company is lowering their threshold because they're not getting enough phone calls for people to call. So what happens when Bart calls? So Bart, 1-800-SAVE-MY-BUTT. Hello, I'm Bart.
So
Bart
these national
Sullivan.
Yeah, this national company, or Ecuadorian company, or Guatemalan company, you don't know who you're talking to.
Get to the company.
What they're offering you is you just send them money for 4 years, and they'll escrow it in a bank account, a special account that they hold your money in, and then they negotiate a settlement on the debt that you owe. They charge you 15 to 18% of the debt that you owe. So
it's 15 to 18,000.
Bart's going to pay $18,000 in fees to hire this company, and then they
Just
charge,
to escrow his money.
And that's what they charge.
That's their plan.
And then they charge you money to hold your money on top of it in escrow, and then
$50 to $90 a month.
And then once they're all done, they're negotiating, and they're in no hurry. They're in a hurry to get a settlement so they can keep their money, but they're not working like lawyers. They don't actually have the best interests of the client in hand.
If you get sued, because you're not, what you do when you
Page
settle
32 of their
over time.
agreement, subsection 27 in 4-point font. It says, by the way, if you get sued, we're not attorneys. Good luck.
So
Says good luck.
this is where it leaves. This is where it leaves Bart. Okay, so Bart now he hasn't given them a credit card. There's the bright side, because these companies all say you pay no fee until we settle the debt. So first of all, that's a bad thing, believe it or not, because they're incentivized to settle the debt quicker at at not as good of a deal. We're going to take a break. We're going to finish up with this, and then we're going to figure out what Bart should have done.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
You're all set to retire. You have your home paid off, money in the bank, and sound investments. But if you're not careful, all the things that you work so hard for can disappear. At Samasco Financial, we'll help you prevent that. We go beyond ordinary asset management. We'll safeguard everything that you have by creating a plan made specifically for you. How much can you afford to lose? Nothing. Protect the people that you love and the things that you have. Call Samasco Financial today.
Time for announcements. I want to remind our viewers to listen to us to Law and Reality Live on the Praise Network, Tuesdays 10 o'clock a.m. and Saturdays 7 o'clock a.m. and on KISS 105.9, Sundays 7 o'clock a.m. Be sure and sign up for our monthly contest. Free $100 Visa gift card, Law and Reality hat, and a copy of my Dump Your Debt book. All you have to do is go on the website, pop your name in on the home page with your email address, and you're entered into the contest. It is a great deal. We have seminars coming up on Wednesday, September 11, 2019, 6 to 7:30 p.m. The Debt Must Fall. We're going to go through all the methods we have to preserve future income for you and your family, to eliminate debt so you start saving for retirement. Scott Weinberg's also going to do a special segment on the right way to handle a traffic offense. Jeff Linden and I are going to talk about tax problems. Brian's going to talk about budget management. You want to sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Also, attendees get a free copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. We have a seminar coming up on Wednesday, October 2nd, 2019, 6 to 7:30 p.m. This is a new seminar. It is called a Business Symposium addressing tax and debt issues. So we're going to focus on business debt and tax issues as opposed to just personal debt and tax issues. We're going to go through the basics of running a successful business, how to avoid and solve tax and payroll issues. What if you fall into one of those crazy, what I call gangster loans that are being offered where you're paying enormous interest rates? How do you get out from under those loans? Attendees get a free report on tax issues and a copy of my book, Dump Your Debt. Sign up at thavgross.com, lawandreality.com, or call 888-235-HELP. Always remember, you can always come into THAV Gross for a free consultation. When you come in, you can go out of the website, click a request for a consult, or you can call 888-235-HELP, and we will then schedule your consult for you. You've got debt issues with Brian, tax issues with Jeff Linden and myself, estate planning issues with Brian or Jeff Linden, business issues with myself, elder law issues with Pat Samasco, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner, criminal law issues with Scott Weinberg. Just go to the website, request a free consult, and we're happy to have you in. Free consults are not meet and greets. We analyze the problem, figure out the solution, and then go from there. Also, go to the website for free reports. Brand new report, Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions, written by myself, How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure, Business Formation, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Michigan, and The Retiree's Guide to Social Security from Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV Gross, Samasco Law, Michigan Criminal Lawyers, Jeff Kirshner Law. Now back to our show.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
Criminal matters are serious. Your freedom, future, and wallet are on the line. Criminal defense attorney Scott Weinberg is a former prosecutor and renowned criminal lawyer. For over 30 years, he's the go-to defender in Michigan to protect your rights. Scott's advice: you have the right to remain silent. Use it. If charged with a crime, call Scott Weinberg today, 888-235-HELP, 888-235-HELP. And remember, stay silent.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV Gross.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV Gross. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so back to Bart. So he signs up for this company. He does, and the company actually, they say, they make it like their marketing practices. We don't charge you until we settle the debt. But the problem is, settling the debt requires, to settle debt, compromising and settling debt with the creditor requires clever strategy and forcing them to take the best deal. But the problem is, for these companies, they don't make any money till they settle. So they settle quickly at not as good of a deal. And they drag it out over 4 years. They're charging way too much money for the service. It's not a good solution. There's constant FTC complaints about all of these companies. If you go online and research it, you find out debt settlement companies do not do a good job. But Bart's in on that. And then the question is, how does this happen? How does this happen? If you look at commercials in America, just take tomorrow night, take your pen out, and every commercial you watch, put on two sides of the ledger. Legitimate, phony. I'm telling you, 40% of the commercials you see are offering products that are not serving a legitimate purpose for Americans. And that doesn't matter what show you're watching. You watch the most socially promoting social justice on the news media. I'm not going to say what station, that has all of the do-gooders on there. You then listen to the commercials. The commercials are a bunch of bad doers. They're these companies that are taking people advantage of people. They're these credit card companies charging them 29% interest. The legitimate businesses are hard to find, but if you cut out, you only allowed legitimate businesses to advertise, you'd have no marketing, you'd have no TV.
Yeah, it seems like half of them are financial planning programs too.
Yeah,
all the financial planning.
And some of them are legitimate, but a lot of them are scams. All right, so how does Bart solve the problem? What do we do for Bart? The problem is we kind of spend so much time on the problems, we're going to have to wrap it up quickly, so I'm going to throw it over to you, Brian. How do we analyze Bart's problem to solve his solution in a smart way?
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to actually sit down with Bart and we're going to look at, is debt resolution a right choice? Actually settling Bart's debts for truly pennies on the dollars outside of bankruptcy. Does Bart qualify for a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which is debt elimination bankruptcy, and wipe out his debts? Allowing him, in this case, if Bart qualifies, to keep his house, keep his IRA, continue to earn his $80,000 a year, get rid of his $100,000 worth of credit card debt. However, there is a timing issue as whether or not Bart can get rid of his income tax debt. They're due for 15 and 16. 16 came due in 17. 17 is not dischargeable in bankruptcy until the earliest April of 2020. Well, we're not that far away. I know it seems like it's far away, but
so
we
let me interject quickly. So are you saying that at the end of the day, for Bart, the best solution is a Chapter 7 bankruptcy timed so that he can discharge all the tax debt and all of the credit card debt?
Absolutely.
All right, now here's the big difference. If Bart did that, what would it cost him?
To do a bankruptcy?
Yeah.
You know, in that type of situation, you're looking at anywhere from maybe $1,500 to $3,000.
So, and how long would it take?
Well, it's not the length of time. The length of time is from the day we file.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
4 months.
Okay, so yeah, we
from
have
start to finish.
So we're going to have to wait a while.
But we're going to have to manipulate Bart's strategy to get Bart down the road to April.
But here's the big point.
That's Bart's best solution.
I totally agree with you. Here's the big point. That solution is a $1,500 to $3,000 solution, and it's a quick solution. The other solutions, the tax solution, didn't even work for $7,500. The debt settlement doesn't work, and that was going to be 15 to 18% of $100,000 of debt, and it was 4 years. You go to those companies, they don't say to you, you know what? You should go talk to a bankruptcy attorney. Even though we don't know how to do bankruptcy, that might be a better solution for you. That's where we're different, is it's because we solve credit card debt outside of bankruptcy. We solve tax problems like Jeff does in an offer and compromise when it works, but we also do bankruptcy. And the key is the business approach says analyze all of them, pick the best one. If you don't do all of them, you're not capable of analyzing them. And that's the difference, and that's what Bart needs to do. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality. Thanks for tuning in.